And I do believe we are live. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Viva Cafe con Leche. And one of these days, Margie, you're gonna start the morning. You're gonna open the line, since I don't want people to think I'm hogging it all. But good morning, everybody. Make sure that you put in the comments of where you are from this morning. We want to hear where you are watching us from. I am Dr. Lori Monaco. I am from Align Yourself Inc. I am the Badass Buddha. I am a transformational speaker and coach and mindfulness coach. And I am coming from Southern Connecticut, which, by the way, is so dreary right now. It is just blah. So that's why I decided to wear my bright blue shirt and bring some brightness, because it's just, out today. And it's been nice. The last couple of days have been really nice, but today's the day that the flowers will grow, because they're getting a lot of moisture. Oh, and enough talking. Now on to my beautiful co-host.
It's fine. Hola, buenos días, namaste, mi gente, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am La Margarita, creator of Cricket's Whisper, spiritual and creative healing life coach, author and artist, and the gladiator guru. Welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche.
You put us on so we can see our fans and comments, and hopefully we'll get a lot of comments. And so, yes, good morning. How's the weather over there?
It's nice. It's already real warm. I had to turn my fan on back here.
Yes, that's the lovely part of Florida. You're not even in it yet. You're not even in that humidity.
Yes.
But do you like the humidity? I mean, does that work for you?
I'm not going to complain. I said when I passed the winter in Connecticut this year, I was like, when I go back to Florida, I'm not going to complain anymore, because I used to complain how I would melt. I felt like the witch from The Wizard of Oz. Your hair only lasts but so long. It feels like your makeup is melting off your face when you get done up. But you know what? No, I don't like it so hot either. Good morning, Lillian.
Good morning, Lillian. And you weren't even talking about, let me see, you're saying that when you were up here for the winter, we didn't even have a bad winter up here when you were.
You know what? I was over my cousin Diana's and Marina's house yesterday, and she said the same thing. It wasn't even that cold. I felt like I was freezing. Like I would be in the house with my scarf and hat on, and I wouldn't go out. It was one time for 2 weeks I didn't leave the house because it was that cold for me. Because I've been here so long.
Was it that cold, or was Frank just too cheap to put the heat on?
No, but the heat used to kill me. Because you know what it is? I've been in Florida for 13 years already. So to go back, my blood thinner.
Yep.
Shout out to Janine from Bridgeport, Lillian from Norwalk, and Anna Micarelli from Italy. Welcome.
Hey, Anna. Nice. Oh my God, where in Italy are you from? Because my whole family's from there. I still have family there.
Ana, ¿a dónde en Italia? And then my cousin Toji. Good morning. Yeah, we met on the Camino de Santiago. So I don't remember exactly what part of Italy she's from.
I want to do a shout out to Andrew. Andrew's in the house. Andrew, let me just give a shout out to Andrew. So Andrew was a student of mine, and he is currently putting together some fantastic, he's written some books and some manuals, and he's putting together a fantastic school in Jamaica for massage therapy. So
Andrew, that's fantastic.
And he's offered for me to come and train the teachers. And what do you think I said? To come down and stay in Jamaica and train teachers? Hello? I think so. I want to say to Iritza-san. Good morning, Iritza. And
Buenos días.
Is on. And Ephraim is going to be coming on very shortly as our guest. And today's topic is food and sex. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation. It's probably going to go in the direction that some of you automatically assume it's going to go, of course, but it's probably also going to go in directions that you may not think we're going to go. So just because it has that name in the title does not mean it has to go that deep into that. So we're going to see what the connection is, and what Ephraim says he believes the connection is. So with that in mind, disclaimer, hello, make sure that no one under certain age is within earshot of the conversation today, because it will probably get dirty and it will probably get explicit. So, and maybe not so much, but we just don't want to be, we don't want to be responsible for that, right?
No. So just watch this alone. 18
Nan is on too. Hi, Nan.
So we wanna remind everybody. I got one last night. I did get a taza yesterday. To send your taza de café selfie, whichever mug you're using. It could be just a mug. It could be with you. We are trying to do Tuesday and Thursdays who sends us the most selfies, so that we can start taking tally and see who wins the gift card. And it would be an ongoing thing. So I think, what did you say yesterday? Every 3 weeks we'll pick a winner.
Well, okay, so the gift card is for the shares, and then we're gonna make once the logo's done.
Oh yes, you get a
She's tired this morning, and
a Viva Cafe con Leche mug. And my allergies or something is bothering me. But good morning, sis. My sister Connie's on.
Good morning, Connie.
Yes, so remember that hashtag Taza de Café selfie, Taza de Café challenge, and hashtag Viva Cafe con Leche. And what are you drinking? Tell us, people. Connie, what coffee is in your cup this morning?
Yes.
And every Tuesday is when we're gonna go into the passionate aromas and flowingness and the palate caressing of coffee. Thursdays we have guests, so we can't really go into all of that, but coffee is...
You could caress the coffee, you could caress the mug, whatever you could do.
The way it dances on my tongue before it flows down, right?
Doesn't it make it so much more fun to drink coffee when she says it like that? The way it dances and rolls around my lips and tongue. I mean, that makes it...
It does. It caresses me. And then when the first swish goes down, you feel it. You feel it like for me, the hands of a man going down my back, just so slowly and warm. And it makes me tingle. I'm telling you, I have a love.
How was the caffeine that was making you tingle? Okay.
No, I love. Iris is drinking Bustelo. Hello, Biggie. So yeah, we'll do that. Last night when I was over my cousin's, we had conversation, Speedy, long time ago. And last night, when I was there the other day, she remembered how I liked my coffee. So she got up and boiled my milk and I'm watching her do that. I told her, don't go through the trouble, because that's not how they make their coffee. She goes, no, this is how you like your coffee. And you know what? I'm always the barista for everybody. I'm always the one making the coffee. So when she was like going out of her way to boil it and then put it through the thing so the nata didn't go through it, and that like touched my heart so much that it's like, it made me so emotional at that moment, but I just swallowed it down. And I'm grateful to know that people like listen and know how. Look at my sister says, I want some of your coffee. So it was a great feeling. So I had like, that was to me like somebody who listens and appreciates and knows my love and my passions for coffee, that they wanted to get it right.
Did you
like a good orgasm. I told you that from the beginning of the show. My first cup of coffee in the morning is like that great morning orgasm.
Do you when you make the coffee, whether it's for yourself or for other people, in the way that you do it, do you find that it's like you actually take joy in the process of making the coffee?
I do, and it has to be right. Whether it's just for me, I still do everything I do as if you were over here having coffee. You know, I put cloves in my coffee grounds. The powder of
yeah,
cloves.
I've done that before. I've done that with cinnamon. Yeah.
I put cloves in my ground, so when the water, and I have that slow, it's real pretty, the pot I have. And then in my milk, I put the cinnamon in it. While it's frothing, I'm stirring it. So, you know, with the cinnamon in it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, so I do it. I go through the whole foreplay with every brew, whether it's just for me or a crew of people. You know, it's just that important. Coffee is important for me. It's just not something to drink or to grab because someone else is doing it.
I've got to tell you, you have made me like want to have a party, just invite people over to make coffee for, because now I want to do it differently than just putting it in the automatic brewer. And like, I've had a French press for the longest time. I've never used it. I have a frother. I do love that thing though. That frother I get such a kick out. I get joy out of using the frother, and I love putting froth on a coffee.
But, oh my God, let me tell you something. In IKEA, for $2.99, they have this little thing with the round spiral.
Oh, you put it in.
Yeah, and you put batteries in it, and it froths that milk so quick, and it's less noisy than my other one. And so that's what I do real quick. You know, well, now I'm not drinking my coffee the way, okay, let's go real quick before Ephraim comes on in 2 minutes. I started Cairo Thin with Lori. It served challenging. We started on Monday, like really started. And it was challenging the first couple of days. And I think that's why I was getting headaches, because I had to drink black coffee.
Yeah.
Now, I like my coffee dark and bitter. It reminds me of me. And but I still had a tinge of milk. So to go completely black was very challenging. I felt like I was being disloyal to my cup of café con leche. So I got headaches. So right now for the next 40 days, I guess, or less, it's going to be black coffee. But because it's for the betterment of me,
right?
I hope my coffee understands, and I will embrace it and accept it with open arms at the end of this gyro thing, because yeah, that's just like important for me. But with the gyro,
so I might as well go ahead and advertise it. So that I offer a program through my business called the Cairo Thin Weight Loss Program, and I also add my own spin to it, which includes coaching. So it's a 6-week program, and it's for people who want to lose like at least 20 pounds. So we started on Monday, and I've already dropped how many pounds? I've dropped about a pound a day. So Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, I've dropped about 4 pounds already. And it's not so much for the weight loss. It's just, I knew I gained during COVID, but I wasn't even at the size I wanted to be before COVID. So I was still working my way, and then this happened, and it totally sidelined me. So I'm doing it for my own health, for my to get myself in better shape. And so if you're ever interested in hearing about it, I offer a free webinar every Monday night, 7 p.m. You can go onto my website or Instagram or Facebook and register for it. And it's free. It just tells you about the program and how much it is and what it entails, and then you make the decision. So, but meanwhile, you can watch our transformation, because once we start, losing more, we're going to start, showing it off, right? Hey,
God, I tell you, God keeps me fast.
We stood up with our chichos last time, right? Like before we lost the weight. So why not show it after we lose it, right? So, shout out to Michelle and Michelle. Hey, sweetie, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope your dog is wonderful, Jeffrey. And then Lisa is on, Lisa Germain. So
good morning, Lisa.
Okay, so what time do we have? So we want to get going with this, because
wait, real quick, I want to shout out Linda, welcome, and Casa Rural La Pradera. I'm assuming they're from Spain. Welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Today's subject is food and sex. So let's get on with it. Let's bring our guests on.
So we are going to invite our friend Ephraim. Ephraim Silva is from the Brazilian Fitness Center in New Haven, Connecticut. He is a capoeira master instructor. and entertainer, and he is just the happiest individual practically on earth. And he's been on our program before, and he will be a frequent guest just because he is so much fun to be around, and he just really kind of shows you how life is supposed to be and how to live your life. And so we're going to tackle a very interesting conversation today. By the way, his recommendation. So we're going to bring Ephraim on, and here we go. So,
hola, Marilis.
Here comes Ephra. Here he is. Good morning, Ephraim. Good morning. We've already introduced you. We've already worked you up. We already blamed you for the conversation. We already said that you chose this topic.
I did.
Buenos días.
We're gonna let you. We're gonna.
Buenos días, your cafe. Mira. Today I'm chilling with Frida.
Look at mine. Mine is a little oink. It's a little piggy. This is what I eat.
Un saldito.
This is what I eat most of the time anyway.
You eat little piggies? Aw.
Well, I do.
Okay, so Ephraim mentioned this topic, and so I want to say, because I didn't have anywhere to put it in the marketing, but so I asked him, and he had said something to me that was so insightful when he first provided this or presented this topic. And so I didn't write it down, and then I texted him yesterday. I'm like, listen, what was it that you said? And he's like, I don't know. I don't remember what I said. But he did come back up with it. So he says, I do believe people have the pleasure of food and sex completely reversed. Food should be our fuel to have power so that they can have pleasure with sex, and not to use food as pleasure, and not to be able to have sex because it makes us sick. Okay, so let's elaborate on that. So this is a really interesting concept, because so that's why I said this conversation could go anywhere, and we can go anywhere with this conversation, but there's a lot of insight for this conversation, because how do you both view as a country, let's just say the U.S. for now, how do you view the U.S.'s relationship with food? How do you feel about that?
Now, ladies first. You want to go first, Margarita?
About what? My relationship with food?
No.
What do you think in general, our relationship is with food, like here in the U.S.?
Oh, it's awful. I think we consume it for every little thing. We don't use it as fuel as much. That's why there's so much obesity in the United States. It's comfort food, it's anger food, it's I'm not having any sex right now food. I mean, it's a staple, and sometimes, most of the time, we go overboard with it, and then we consume the fast food industry here. It's just like it makes us sick. You know, the organics and the healthy foods are overpriced, so people rather go and get a 99-cent or 4 for 4 burgers at one of these, poisoned places, instead of going to the store to get all the vegetables they need to make, an enriching salad and the protein. So yeah, I think that's what I think on my take on food here.
What do you think, Ephraim?
For me, so it's funny because, first of all, I love this topic. I just want you to know that, because I love food, and for some strange reason, I also like sex.
I'm with you on that, Ephraim. I am like deer. Got peanut blood in me.
All about being real. Remember that.
But the thing is this, right? The thing is this. I don't like to be controlled by neither one of them. And for many years of my life, I thought food as well, like everybody else. Well, if I know my food, then I will enjoy, I'll have more pleasure. And the truth of the matter is, well, it is everybody's habit. Everybody, if they understand about food, they know, they look, they put in their mouth, wow, this, and it sounds like so fancy and so special. And then they eat all that shit that tastes so good. And then nobody wants to have sex anymore. So the pleasure became only through the food that they eat. Because most of the times you eat, I've been learning a lot of stuff about this.
Well, Ephraim, because they get the pleasures of ingestion instead of injection.
That's my girl. So you
Wait, good morning, Jonathan Pookie and Carmen
And
Yeves.
good morning, Sherry Lynn.
I even have one of my students is here too, Erin. I see her name. Erin, I love you. So anyway, so is it the truth? I don't know, but I know one thing for sure. The last year and a half, 2 years, I've been learning and studying as much as I could about my own food. I don't know anything. I'm not an expert on none of this stuff. I'm not an expert in sex nor in food. But the truth of it is, I only speak from the love I have for it and for my own personal experience. It might go against other people's point of view and may not agree. And this is not up for discussion anyway. I'm not trying to tell people I am right or someone's wrong. But my experience lately and not being so addicted to the food I have to eat has given me so much freedom. And what I got out of it is a lot more energy to do the things I really enjoy. And I you know what I mean? So I'm 56 almost. And I think I'm the prime. If anybody were to ask me today, what was the prime of my life, what time I would choose the best, I would say today. Because I have the healthiest life I've ever had, the best body I've ever had, and my energy level is all the way up in the sky. And what I can say about this, it is all about the food that I changed for the last year and a half. And so if people are not, if people were eating food as a source of energy, then they could definitely have a better health, more power, and pleasure having sex, and less excuses. So I do believe that, and I think people are reversing this to.
But I agree with you on that.
You know what I mean? So and it does make a difference if you pay attention to what you eat. And now, what works for me may not work for someone else. But lately, eating the way I have has given me things that I never had before. And it is what in October is going to be 2 years that I chose. Boom! I lost a lot of weight. I have been doing capoeira for a long time, and I don't think I have trained as much capoeira as I have lately.
That's great.
Being as healthy as I am.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's all about the food, in my opinion. And if we pay attention to it, we can transform our life, our health, our energy. We sleep better, and there is no diabetes if you eat the right thing.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about why the two are connected in the first place. So if you're talking about like if people find sex pleasurable, and then if people find food pleasurable, what's happening in the brain is that we're releasing these incredible chemicals, whether they're nerve chemicals or if they're hormones. And either way, they can be released, and they can be released in any form of pleasure. It doesn't matter if it's sex or if it's food, or if it's just like a hobby that you're doing or anything. It's just that these two happen to be really powerful. And some people are like, how could food be powerful like sex is powerful? Because it is. Because some people have literally substituted eating for sex in general.
Or lack of.
But I'm saying sometimes it's not purposeful, but sometimes they just choose that. You know, there's people that have been married for a really long time, or they're in a relationship a really long time, and they just get into this cycle of, this is what I'm gonna, we're just gonna eat and have a good time together. And then they take that other piece out, and part of that comes into play because, so here's what happens. When you start eating and you start eating these foods like Ephraim was talking about, and it makes you feel so good. It releases such a massive amount of chemicals that you want those chemicals, you want to keep feeding yourself with those chemicals, so you connect it to what it is. So, I ate that and that felt really good and made me feel better, even if it was for that moment. Then food starts to take its toll on you because the bad food starts to drain your energy. And any energy. So when it's time to get busy, like with your significant other, and now it's like all of a sudden you're like, I'm too tired, and you use the excuse of.
People really say that?
Huh?
People really say that?
What? I'm too tired?
I'm too tired, or
white people do.
I guess you've never been married before.
White women do in marriages, yes. Okay. So listen. So what happens is we blame it on everything. It's the kids. I had a long day. A lot of work. But it's not those things, it's the energy level. Because if you had the energy, you would be up for anything. You know, like you would like, think about when you go on vacation, right? Most people, when we go on vacation, we're so fucking happy to get away from our lives, that, and we're so excited. So we get to vacation and we want to do it all. Like all of a sudden we have this energy that we didn't have the last few days of our normal mundane life. Where did that come from? Like we got an adrenaline rush, but that's only short lived. You know, then it's like we start substituting things to put in to like exciting us, and then that energy starts to go down. So in other words, it doesn't matter if you have a long day. It doesn't matter if you work a lot, if you have a lot of the kids. If you have the energy, you will have time to have sex. You will have time to have that intimacy, and you will gain the pleasure, and it's separate. So that's why that's part of the reason why we're so obese. We're food addicted.
Yeah.
Everybody is
the release of those chemicals. And our brain does not know the difference between the chemicals being released with sex, the chemicals being released with food intake, chemicals being released with a roller coaster ride, you know, winning the lottery. It's all the same, but food becomes most acceptable, right? You can't just like drop down and have sex all the time. Well, maybe some people can, but that.
I wish I could.
I'm not saying anything. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. So, but you can't, you know what I'm saying? So food is socially acceptable, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
That becomes, oh, okay, I'm not feeling good, I'm going to eat. I'm not feeling good, I'm going to go out to dinner with my friends. I'm not feeling good, or I'm going to do this. And then it becomes this really bad cycle. And I'm going to let Ephraim talk because I've been talking the whole time.
No, it's great. You said all the things you're supposed to do. I think this taboo about sex is another thing, right? So if you're a woman, well, you have to act a certain way. I love that you guys say fuck and you guys have no problem expressing yourselves, because the truth of the matter is a lot of people are afraid to be free in that matter. Nobody's afraid of eating, though. No matter how big you are, how small you are, or you have pride in saying, wow, I know this food, oh, I love pizza, oh, this is the best place. Nobody wants to talk about a club where you can go and have sex. Oh, I prefer that.
We're saying, I love a good blowjob, or I love nobody.
For me, that counts a lot more than having to be worrying about food. I've always eaten anything that I liked it. I never cared so much for pasta or too much pizza. I never cared for that. But it wasn't because I knew that was not good for me. I did because I didn't care. So for me, if you cooked, I would eat without complaining, and I would be thankful for the food. So food for me was always, well, it's part of the game. Let's eat. But I never cared so much. And now it's perfect because I'm totally not controlled by food. My food, I eat once a day, and I work out. I do a lot of things that is like unbelievable for me. But people don't live life like this. They prefer talking about food than talking about sex. I prefer sex.
Why is that? Wait, why is that, Ephraim? I have a friend. I'm not going to mention no name, Lisa. But she never wanted to talk about anything that had to do with sex.
No boundaries on the show. We said no boundaries. You're up for grabs.
So I would like flash her my boobs and everything because I love flashing people. And she was like, "Oh my God, what did you just do?"
Can you flash us now, please?
I don't have the right shirt to lift.
I'd love to see some boobs right now.
She emailed me a picture of her boobs, and it's like, okay, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. She has nice boobs, by the way.
Oh, I would love to see.
And so you know it, and people don't like. It's like a taboo conversation with people. So like I have an art series called The Power of Pussy, and some of my close friends, Lillian and Carmen, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't wear that hat, I can't wear that shirt," and that's okay because people have, you know, the word pussy is very strong, and I put that as the title of my series to catch the attention, to explain the real deep emotional part of the series. And then I have a blog that's called Magically Orgasmic.
I love it.
Because it's what's in the orgasm. People, they just say, oh, I had an orgasm, but explain to me how you felt during that orgasm. It's such a freeing emotion, and it's so colorful. It's like unicorns and peacocks, and people don't take the time to appreciate that. And I learned that because I'm multiply orgasmic. So I've learned, and I've sat there, you know, and I've lived within those orgasms, and it's a beautiful thing.
You know, I want to say that the Brazilians, I mean, I'm speaking about Brazilians because that's where I am. First of all, I want to say hello to my nephew. He's in Florida, in Boca Raton, and he's clapping. Yeah.
Hello, nephew.
Is that Bito? Is that, you talking about Bito as your nephew?
Yeah, that's my nephew.
Okay, and then yes. Janet's on too. Good morning, Janet.
Hola, Janet. Oh, look.
So go ahead, Ephraim, go ahead.
So no, anyway, so the
Brazilians?
Say it again.
You were talking about Brazilians.
Yeah, so this conversation about sex, I think because I'm Brazilian, I'm speaking about that. The Brazilians are very sexual, in my opinion.
Yes.
Okay, so, and I think because of the sun is always out, and people live near the water. People are more, I don't know, people don't mind so much being more free. But we think that because I'm Brazilian, and I lived in a carnival, and all those parties with so many people, so many sex encounters, was fucking awesome. But here in America, I swear to God, I don't find this. I think people here are so, in my opinion, pretending prude.
Yeah.
Like, all right, it's like, no, I'll tell you my opinion.
You're
what it is.
right.
No, you're right, and I'm from here.
I'll tell you this. Look, people do the same thing that Brazilians are willing to do, but they are pretending not to.
Yeah.
They do under the table. Everybody is hiding. And if someone comes out like I am, right? I always come out strong because everything for me is, oh, look, this is how I am. Deal with it.
Exactly.
People have a problem. And then they think it is because I'm Brazilian and I'm out of my mind.
Yes.
That's true. Look,
I agree with you.
we are all the same. Everybody wants to have pleasure in life. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be able to express themselves. But everybody talks about this and don't act on it. And when they find someone like us, they are willing to express, then we are judged. We are so wrong. But the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, everybody wants to have fucking sex, man. Everybody wants to come. Everybody wants to have orgasm. Everybody wants to have pleasure.
Yes.
But we got to just change the conversation, in my opinion.
And we suppress the pleasure by eating. I just want to say before I forget, so you brought up such a good point because, listen, let me tell you how stuffy the U.S. is. Years ago, we had this phenomenal Surgeon General step in, a female, an African-American female, years ago, and she stepped in. This was, let me see, this had to be in the 90s, and she said that what she wanted to start doing for education for students in the high school level was to start including the conversation about masturbation.
Oh my God, we're supposed to. I think masturbation is phenomenal.
Well, listen, so this happened. She got so much bullshit for this.
Yeah.
That she resigned her post. They forced her to resign her post for saying that. And the interesting thing is, I was watching years ago. I was watching a study on, or it was a documentary on, like teen pregnancies and all this stuff. And I believe it was the Netherlands, right? The Netherlands is very open with their conversations on sex. They start their conversations in school on the elementary level, and they teach in sex education masturbation. So they were interviewing the students and saying, you know, how do you feel about masturbation? How do you feel about sex? And it was so interesting the way they were having the conversation. They were saying, well, you know, if I'm in the mood and I'm by myself, I just take care of it myself. And I don't go out finding it from somebody else. Like I am finding myself and then doing things that I don't want to do and pushing myself into situations just to gain pleasure or to have company. And it was so insightful for somebody so young to have that mindset. And I'm thinking, that's because that's the way they're brought up. And I agree, we are very much that way in the US. We've gotten better But we've also taken this crazy step the opposite side where it's like a free-for-all. And it's like we need to sort of explain it and say, this is why it's healthy. This is why it's good. Like overeating is not healthy.
No.
Oversexing, there's technically, unless you're not being careful, but it's not. But think about this. Overeating could actually kill you. Oversexing, I guess, could kill you in a way.
Disease. Anything in excessive mode is not good for you. Here's the thing on masturbation.
Yeah.
Boys need to learn about masturbation at an early age, and that's why
so do girls. So do girls.
No, but I'm talking about, let's say boys, because boys don't learn, and if they don't use the proper tools while they're learning how to masturbate, the lotions, and they get cut up, they get dried, they get rashes, they get swollen down there, and then they don't fully. You have to, like when I was in Connecticut, I spoke to my nephews. And my grandson here, I walked in his room.
Hi, Frank. Frank's on, by the way, too. So
hi, Frank. And Frank and my sister thought I was crazy when I was like, do you masturbate? It's good to masturbate. That I was having this conversation with those teenage boys. And then they admitted that they did. And I said, well, make sure you lather up properly. And then when I came home, and I went into my grandson's room and I see all these napkins. And I just said it jokingly. I said, Papa, are you masturbating? He's like, well, actually, I do. Because I've always built that open rapport with my kids and my grandkids. They can talk to me about anything.
They
think I'm crazy, but that's okay because I'm their safe place.
Yes.
Any questions they have. And I'm teaching them to be true to themselves. So everywhere you stand, you are yourself. Don't be a prude. Don't be a fake. Speak your truth. And those that will respect you will come. Those who can't handle their own thoughts, they leave because we don't need that negativity in our life. We're too vibrant with our truths.
Yes,
yeah, true.
So absolutely.
Do you believe that it's much harder for women, for ladies in general, to admit that they masturbate than men?
Yes.
I believe so, but I think it's a way of learning your body.
For boys, I think it's a natural reaction.
Yeah.
The boy there is hard. Oh, let me touch it, and it's a natural reaction.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, even as adults being with women, there are many women in my life that I would never openly say, yeah, I like to masturbate. See, for me, in my opinion, if I were to be with a woman, we mentioned this the last time we had this conversation, a little bit about masturbation. If I am with a woman who does not like, doesn't want to do it, and it thinks this is wrong, I really don't want to be with them.
Turn off.
I do not want to be with them because this is what happens most of the time. And again, guys, I like to go back in my opinion. It isn't the truth. So nobody takes it wrong, okay? So it's my opinion that so for me, if I am with a woman who thinks that and does not accept that as a natural way for you to learn, to know your body, to know what you want, to love yourself, how the fuck are you going to expect me as a man to please you if you don't even know yourself? So the problem is it becomes the man's fault. Now, when a woman cannot find the pleasure that they were looking for, so it is the guy's fault. I take no responsibility for that. Neither to give, no, I don't. Neither to give anybody's pleasure, nor not to. The truth of the matter is, if I am with you and you know what you want, I know what I want, the two of us can create this fucking amazing energy and blow out to the sky. Both of us create it. Not me responsible for you or vice versa. So in my life, sex has to be completely intentional. You like as much as I do.
Yes.
It's for me, it's just a natural way of being. But it starts with masturbation. It starts right there. In my opinion.
That's a whole other subject because we can go on about masturbation because I think it's such a learning tool. And I think we should have a show just for that, like we said earlier, because it just, it's across the board with women and that prevents them. I mean, it just goes so much deeper than pleasure. You know, it's that self-love, that self-trusting, so that then in turn you could know what to give of yourself during that sexual encounter, that making love, that whatever that people want to call it. So yeah, I think that would be a great one, but it all starts with masturbation, because that's how you learn what you like, what your G spot is, and I think that's going to be a phenomenal conversation going forward.
And that also, because the belief that whether masturbation is right or wrong, just the belief of it, especially if you believe it's wrong, or it's not normal, then what happens is that just, again, you can't free yourself enough. And so that will lead, so that when a person is feeling very uncomfortable with sexual experiences, having sex, doing different things during sex, so like when you were saying, Ephraim, about how if the woman's expectation is that it's your job to pleasure her, and it doesn't happen, or she, for whatever reason, whether it's her or the person that she's with, what happens after that? You finish, and then it's like, where does the joy, where does that satisfaction come from? We go to the food. We go to something else that's more calming and more natural and more around us. And then we say, okay, that's fine. That wasn't that great. And that's, it was, we just did it to do it. And then I'm going to gain my pleasure from eating this beautiful cake.
And the problem with that is this, right? And then people don't understand why most relationships don't work. So the thing is this, and everything is all about pretense. Everybody pretending, oh, it was great, and they lie. And then what happens is, if the girl never went to where she wanted to go sexually, she will pretend because she knows the guy would like to feel more manly if she says so. So, and then we as men, of course, would like to please the woman. But I, on the other hand, don't live my life based on it. If you don't know what to do, me neither. So, but they all lie. They all pretend.
They do.
One thing I know for sure, a guy, when they come. And that's that, right? So there is no pretense there, unless his boy was not hard. But women, unfortunately, can fake and pretend. But if they make this a habit of pretending, they will never get to where they want to go sexually, ever.
They won't.
Because
and you know what?
That moment on, everybody's going to be pretending to each other. And they will do it as mechanically. Oh, well, we are here, let's have sex. But nothing.
And that's a sad story. That's a very sad story. I do not take one for the team. And if you're doing something wrong in the middle, I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm a very take charge of my pleasure type of person. So when I hear people say they don't dare say that, so you're right, they're pretending. And then what happens? You're not satisfied. And exactly, you go and you eat. And you feel it, and then you get miserable, and then
you're sick.
It's a vicious cycle of unhappiness taking you to food. So then you gain weight, which makes you more unhappy, and then you don't want to have sex because you gain weight. So you become
ashamed.
So it's a vicious cycle with the misuse of food, always beginning with food, I say. Because sex is such a release of endorphins. It just fills you up with happiness. It makes you feel like a gymnastic afterwards, like you're so stretched out and there's no extra negative ear bubbles in your joints. So it's all about the food and the intake and how deep is our love affair with food.
And you have to look at yourself, right? All the time. You have to learn. I said, going back to masturbation, you have to learn what you love to do with yourself so you can do whatever you want to do and be as open as you are saying you can be. Because this is not, see, if I were to have sex, I'd like to hear exactly what you want to say. First of all, it's exciting to hear, right? It's like fucking awesome when there is some fucking bad words in between and then you say, do this.
And you're direct about it, right? You're direct about it.
And being open. It's like, okay, so if you don't say, how the fuck am I going to know?
Right, exactly.
For me,
that's anything in life. That's not even just sex. That's anything in life. If you need something, you say it. You don't make everybody a mind reader. So that goes all levels of life.
I don't know. I said, for me, I'll tell you what, for me, and it isn't because I'm an old guy, okay? I've always thought like this. It's always in my life. For me, it's very clear who I am, what I'm intentional about, what it is that I like, how I like it, and I accept nothing about you. Either create what you want or the universe is going to give you what you don't want. But something will be created. And I am very conscious. So if I am with a girl, okay, I have a friend, And I don't have a girlfriend. I have a lot of friends who are girls.
Benefits. They're friends with your benefits.
Like good friends. So the thing for me is this, right? I think in the very beginning, telling exactly how it is for you would save you so much shit along the way. So people sit, let's say I meet you, Margarita, and we sit, we talk, we're having coffee, talk about the coffee. And then the last thing we want to talk about is sex, right? Because I don't want to show you that I'm interested in fucking you. Or you don't want to demonstrate that.
Now, how about we say instead of fucking me that we want to have an exchange of fluids, of juices?
There you go. And then
I think exchange of fluids sounds gross.
I say exchange of juices. I don't exchange juices with just anybody.
I like it. So, and then what happens is,
good morning. Came on a good topic. Good morning, Karen Marie.
I am there pretending that that's not what I want, and you are there pretending that you are not easy. You will never have sex right away because you are not easy. And then both of us with an intention of creating something that's never going to be created. And you accept that. I accept that. And we go home and meet again and continue the same fucking lies throughout our lives. And they don't understand why this shit didn't work. It's because nobody tells the truth about what they are and what they like in the fucking beginning. It's
right, and what's the first thing we do when we're like, when we leave a situation and we're not happy with it, we eat. Like we go, like if you're frustrated, if you broke up or you had a fight with somebody, or if you just like anytime you are, because technically whether it's you unsatisfied with sex, or if you broke up with somebody, or if you had a fight, it's something unsatisfactory. And the first thing we do to relieve ourselves is to eat. And we eat, not only do we eat, but we eat the comfort foods, the sweets, the salty, the carbs, which are all the worst things to eat anyway. And then, and again, we just start this thing because it's interesting. One of the reasons why women are binge eaters, those women that are very large, that are binge eaters, most of them, it's not all of them, but they're connected to some sort of maybe sexual trauma in their life, and they purposely but subconsciously pack on weight.
Absolutely.
Themselves undesirable so that nobody will touch them, so that they will not create that connection. Because listen, let's also say something about sex. Sex, sometimes we think sex is like either you love somebody and you have sex, or you just have sex. Sex is a connection across the board. And if you like what you're doing, whether you're in love with the person or not, it's a connection. And it is, and it can be a very pleasurable connection if you let yourself go. Mm-hmm. If you're afraid to let yourself go, that pleasure has to come from somewhere else. And the most common substitution is food.
Yeah. And all the greasy cheeseburgers, the crunchy French fries. Yeah. And coming from that part of rape and molestation, you do become promiscuous for a minute, and then you do protect yourself with weight. I've been there, I've done it. But I think for the most part, it is in my DNA to be a highly sexual individual. So I don't, that part that's already happened, I dealt with it, but I've always been a sexual being. I'm that energy force. So I don't look at sex, I'm not out there giving it away like that. But no, when there is a connection, like you say, there's a connection. And what is life about? Life is about experiencing all forms of life and enjoyment and everything. So yeah, food, there are times when I'm angry, because I'm an angry little rabbit. I like crunchy food. So you're right.
Yeah, me too.
And so you go through those phases, but I think like what Ephraim was saying, if you learn who the hell you are in its entirety of your temple and your emotions, if you mesh them all together, then you would learn, and then you would want, and like it's a chiro thing, I'm happy that I'm on it, because 4 ounces of this and that is a lot of food. So you're eating unnecessarily. You're feeding your demons. That's what I call it. When I eat too much, when I'm overthinking and I'm eating a bag of chips, I'm feeding those demons. instead of, you know, doing some yoga or something.
Well, actually, wait, let me say one thing too, though. So this is interesting. What's the most common reason too why people eat? Because when they're stressed out. So when they're stressed, they go on those comfort foods. Interestingly, men and women. So when a woman is stressed out, the last thing she wants to do is have sex. When a man is stressed,
not all women
like it as a release. I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying, like, actually research has shown that men men have sex for a lot of reasons. They have sex because it feels good. They have sex because they want to, and they have sex as a stress reliever. And women, we've gotten into our heads that's the last thing that we want to do when we're stressed. But the interesting thing is that if a woman allows herself to just go ahead and do it when she's stressed out, she's going to find that it's an amazing stress reducer, and you won't eat. You don't.
Exactly. You're like walking on cloud 9, and then you can face the world. It's like you have full body armor, you have a machine gun in one hand and a samurai sword in another, and like, bring it. Yeah, that's how it makes you feel.
Kicking ass.
Yes, it's like in all its glory, and people, like you say, they like, I don't know what's the problem of them just not going to that. You know, that's like a multivitamin.
So you said something about, you know, the fact that you are very sexual and love sex, that you are not totally open out there and for anybody.
No, meaning, you know,
I want to say something
but
about
I don't have a problem if I meet somebody, and I don't care who hears this.
That's the truth.
I don't have a problem. Like if we're talking and we're meeting, you know, not that I met you in the last hour, but if there's an intense connection, you know, women try to be like, oh, I'm not easy. If I want to have sex, I want to have sex. My mother said I should have been born a man. And so I have, you know, very masculine energy.
This is what I want to say. So the fact that I'm talking about myself, I know I have 6 brothers and 6 sisters, okay? So their opinion of me is that I would have sex anytime because I speak like this openly, you know? And but the truth of the matter is, I don't think that the fact that I speak about openly and I'm cool about it, and for me, there is nothing wrong about anything sexually. I think people have the right to choose whatever the fuck they want and do whatever they want with their body. That's their body. So as long as it does not violate anybody's right. So
that's correct.
The fact that I am that would not make me have sex with a girl just because I'm with her. For me, if there is no such an intense connection between me and someone, and it's not because of their looks, it's not because of their size, none of that. It's the connection. If I am being sexual as I can be, but for me to have sex, I know if my friends see me with 2 women like the 2 of you, right? If the 3 of us are having a dinner, the first thing they would think, well, if Ryan's gonna do both,
we're gonna have a menage a trois.
But the thing is this, right? But not always that is true. But that's how people view, because I am open about it, because I speak what it is. But it is great that you said that, because it is not just for women that people think, well, if you are that open, you probably have sex with everybody. Men is even worse. But I swear to God, for me, it doesn't work like that. I don't care how cute the person is. If it isn't completely connected, and if I don't sense that she's as free as I am, I don't want to. I prefer masturbation 1,000 times.
Well, and you both said a good point, because when you were saying you're a sexual being, there's a difference between being a sexual being and exuding like that energy, that sexual energy, and being promiscuous or easy. They don't go together.
No, but the simple mindedness of people make it ugly like that, which I don't care, because I you know what, whatever people think of me is not my business.
Right.
Because I'm true to who I am. That's everywhere I stand, I'm firm in my beliefs. So that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think it's the idea of closed-minded people, they mesh the two into ugliness. And that's why other people are afraid to be who they are, because they don't want to be labeled. Honey, label me. I don't care. Because at the end of the day,
I want to mention that Aaron wrote something really great, because this is very true. So Aaron wrote, women also get anorexic, eat less when not happy. This then leads to a vicious cycle of lack of hormones working right, so then they don't have sex drive or even their period, because good fat is necessary for hormones absolutely to work right. Nuts, etc., no pun intended. Good fats to help women's hormones work right and increase their desire, so healthy fats can help us help our sex lives. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, she's absolutely right. I mean, it's not, we were talking about overeating. Women can undereat and starve themselves too, but it's still a relationship with food in general. It's that relationship with food is, where is it getting substituted or taken out? But if you, so think if you're a sexual being, if you have a lot of sexual energy and somebody says to you, oh, it's bad, you can't be sexual, especially as a woman. You're not, that's not good for you to be that. You suppress it, and then you have to substitute for it. You have to substitute for that energy, and the most common substitution then is some sort of food, or, as Erin is saying, lack thereof. You can also substitute no food for that, to suppress it. It's always about suppressing who you really are.
So the truth is,
okay.
we just have to remember one thing very important. Sex is 1,000 times better, masturbation 1,000 times better than any other pleasure in terms that we can find on food. And if we don't pay attention to what we are eating, like Steve Jobs says in a short video that I saw him, he says, you either eat your food as your remedy or you eat your remedy as your food. And the truth of the matter is, that is what stops us from wanting to live a powerful life. Has nothing to, and it goes back to not having to do anything with sex. Sex is a big part of our lives, but it has nothing to do with sex. At the end of the day, you ain't got no energy. You are sick. You don't have energy to take care of your kids. You don't have energy to study, to go in. And then you think it is the world's fault. Why? You are not looking at yourself very early in the morning. Right. If you want to have sex, then eat the right food, wake up with an intention of fixing your fucking bed, clean your house, clean your car, prepare yourself to be making a difference. Give, more you give, love other people, and I promise the sex will show up, and then you're not going to be dependent on one thing, fucking up another. It's a balance. That is a balanced life.
Like life. Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
That's beautiful. And that's a fabulous way to end the show, because we are out of time. And Ephraim, this was really, I got to tell you, this was above and beyond. I think this was a really enlightening conversation for a lot of people. I know it was for Margie and I can tell. And this was a great conversation.
I talk about this conversation during coffee in the middle of our other meetings, because that's just, it's part of my language. And if people incorporate, anyway, yes, so we do got to go.
We do have to go. So listen, again, Ephraim, thank you for coming on. You know, we're going to see more of Ephraim. He's got such great insight, and we have some great topics that, like one of the ones we want you to come back on is about age. Does age matter? You know, and I think
it does not.
And you're doing that, so that's fantastic. So thank you so much, Ephraim, for coming on.
But real quick, Lisa wanted to know, she wants to go to your capoeira, so maybe friend Lisa German on Facebook.
Okay, yes. Capoeira, we have BrazilianFitnessCenter.com. You can find us there.
Oh, okay, good. Hopefully she's on.
So on our next episode of Viva, it's Tuesday, What's in Your Junk Drawer, Part 1, and Part 2 will be on Thursday. So what's in your junk drawer? So there's a couple of ways that we're going to go about this. We're going to talk about your actual junk drawer, like in your kitchen or house. And then we're going to talk about your own personal junk drawer. And if you want to contact us, you can reach me on Instagram at Align Yourself Inc. And Facebook here at Dr. Lori Monaco, and my website, drlorimonaco.com. And Margarita, we can reach you through, we have a lot of ways to reach Margie.
At Instagram, Cricket Whisper, no S, Cricket Whisper, one word. And on Facebook, Margarita Chapman Rodriguez, because, you know, or Margarita de Margarita.
So Beto, I want to say thank you to my nephew. He says that we had a great talk. And
thank you, Beto.
Thank you, Aaron, for coming. And I have some
friends. Michelle. Michelle said thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. My cousin said it was too fast, and it just seemed like it was. But no, I appreciate you.
So you owe us a little flash one of these days.
Yeah. What? Let me tell you something. Ain't no shame in my game. I love my pearls.
Let's increase our viewers. Oh my God, that'll be a challenge. Increase our viewers and she'll flash.
There you go.
There you go.
So remember to share, everybody. We appreciate it. Share. We want this to really grow.
Yeah, share.
Great the conversations are. So please definitely share this and share it as often as you can. And you could win a prize on top of it. And so thank you so much for coming again. Thank you, Ephraim. We appreciate you.
Pleasure.
And remember, everybody, be you, be real, and be extraordinary. And Margie?
And namaste, mi gente. And remember, breathe in your beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.